Results Day isn't just a set of numbers. There's something about GCSE Results Day that I don't think we talk about enough. We talk about the grades, the pass rates, the progress measures, the destinations and the headlines. But behind every one of those numbers is a young person. And behind every young person is a group of adults who've invested an enormous amount of themselves in helping them get there. And that's why, as school leaders, Results Day can be incredibly stressful. I know it was for me. In fact, at various points in my career, the stress of Results Day used to follow me into my sleep. And I mean that quite literally. I used to have some absolutely bizarre dreams in the run-up to Results Day, but there was one that's really stayed with me. I was teaching a GCSE Drama class at the time, and in this particular dream, I was at home. Everything was completely normal, and then I heard a knock at my window. So naturally, in my dream, I went to see what it was, and when I looked outside, there were 14 Death Eaters from Harry Potter standing on my front lawn. All in their black robes, all with their hoods up, and I remember thinking to myself, this can't be good. Then, one by one, they pulled back their hoods, and it turned out they were my GCSE Drama class. And one of them pointed at me and said, "You said that staging would be on the paper." And I woke up completely convinced for a few seconds that I'd somehow failed an entire GCSE drama class because I'd misjudged a question about staging. Now, thankfully, those dreams are a thing of the past. But the anxiety around Results Day, I still definitely get that. And I suspect a lot of teachers and school leaders still get that anxiety too. So why do we get so anxious? Because we care. That's the bit I sometimes think we forget. If you work in education, it's very difficult to completely separate yourself emotionally from the outcome. Of course, we need professional boundaries. Of course, we need perspective. And of course, one set of exam results doesn't define a young person's future. But if you spent a year or several years working with young people, helping them, challenging them, encouraging them and investing in them, you care about what happens to them. And that means waiting for results can be incredibly stressful and incredibly difficult. Once the exams have been sat, there's nothing you can do. The work has been done, the papers have been marked, the grades have been decided, and you wait and you wonder, did we do enough? Did we prepare them well enough? Will they get the grades they need? Will they get into the sixth form they want? Will they get the course that they've chosen? Or even, in the case of A-levels, will their university place still be there, and how will that impact on their future? And then you start thinking about individual students, not cohorts, not percentages, but humans. The student who struggled with confidence, the student who had a difficult year, the student who finally started believing they could succeed, the student who's worked incredibly hard for that grade. And that's the real reason that results matter. Teaching isn't a job you can completely separate yourselves emotionally from the outcome. Yes, we're professionals. Yes, we need perspective. And yes, there are things that are completely outside of our control. But teaching is a vocation. We spend an enormous amount of time with young people. We know their strengths. We know their weaknesses. We know when they're having a bad day. We know when they're capable of more. We see their confidence grow. We see them fail. We see them try again and again and again. And eventually, we see them walk through the door on Results Day. So yes, we care about the grades. But really, we care about what those grades mean for that young person. And for senior leaders, there can be another layer of pressure. Because you're not only worrying about your own students, you're thinking about your colleagues too. You know how hard they've worked. The revision sessions, the intervention, the additional support, the emails home, the phone calls, the parents' evenings, the conversations on corridors. The teachers who've stayed late because they know a student needed another hour. And you know that your colleagues are going to feel the results personally as well. Because teachers don't just teach a class, they invest in it. So when the results aren't what we hope for, it can feel like a personal failure. We ask what we could have done. And when they're brilliant, there's enormous pride. Remember, results aren't a judgment on a teacher. This is something I think we need to remind ourselves of. A set of results is important. We absolutely should analyse them. We should ask difficult questions. we should identify where we can improve. But results aren't a simple judgment on the quality of an individual teacher. There are so many variables. Student starting points, attendance, prior attainment, SEND, mental health, family circumstances, engagement, cohort dynamics, and things that are completely outside of a teacher's control. So we need to maintain high expectations without turning accountability into blame. This is where I think senior leadership has a really important role, because we can't control the grades, but we can control what we do before results day, and that's where leadership matters. Know your students. Don't just look at the cohort. Know the students who are borderline. Know the students who are capable of significantly more. Know the students who are vulnerable. Know the students whose next step depends on a particular grade. And make sure your staff know them too. Because sometimes the difference between a student getting the grade they need and falling short isn't another spreadsheet or intervention. It's knowing exactly who needs help and what kind of help they need. Create a culture where asking for help is normal. Sometimes the most important thing a senior leader can do is make it safe for colleagues to say, "I'm really worried about this class," or "I'm not sure what else I can do." That shouldn't be interpreted as weakness. It should be interpreted as professional honesty. And the response from leadership should be, "Okay, I see there's a problem. I see that you're worried. Let's work it out together." Celebrate the work, not just the outcome. We should absolutely celebrate great results. But we also need to celebrate the work that made those results possible. The teacher who stayed late, the colleague who found a different way to explain something, the tutor who kept encouraging a student, the head of department who supported their team, the head of year who put in an intervention strategy for the most vulnerable groups, the teacher who refused to give up on a student. Because sometimes the most important impact we have as teachers isn't visible on a spreadsheet. And then results day arrives, and the emotions are real. There will be joy, there will be relief, there will be disappointment, there will probably be tears, and that's okay. Because it means that we care. My Death Eater dreams might have disappeared, thankfully, although I'm still prone to the odd stress and anxiety dream before results day, but that little knot in the stomach when results day approaches, that's probably never ever going to disappear completely. And actually, I'm okay with that, because I'd rather work in a profession where we care enough about young people that their successes make us incredibly proud and their disappointments genuinely affect us. The trick is making sure that emotion doesn't overwhelm us. As leaders, our job isn't to eliminate those emotions. It's to help our colleagues and our students navigate them. Celebrate the successes, support the disappointments, challenge where we need to improve, and then move forward. So why do we do it? If you're a teacher waiting for GCSE results and you're feeling anxious, you're not ridiculous, you're not overreacting, you're not unprofessional. You care, and that's really, really important. It's one of the reasons why you became a teacher in the first place. The students aren't just numbers, the results aren't just statistics, and the work we do isn't just a job, it's a vocation. And if you're a senior leader, remember this. Your job isn't simply to receive the results. Your job is to create the conditions in which students and staff can excel. Know your students, support your colleagues, and challenge where necessary. And when results day arrives, stand alongside your people, whatever the numbers say, because ultimately, that's leadership. And that's why we do this. And if 14 Death Eaters ever turn up on your front lawn, just make sure that you taught the syllabus correctly.